welcome back, hunters. I'm the Survivalist, and we returned Monster Hunter Wilds, where, after a long bit of talking about, how I want to do a video going over the Light Bowgun and my feelings about it, we're finally at the point, because we basically cleared out all of the current monster roster that is in Wilds, so I want to talk about where I feel like the Light Bowgun is not great to play. It's going to be kind of like an essay video, but it's going to be a bit different than the previous one I had done on Call of Wild the Angler, where, instead of having a full script and I was really monotonous, kind of monotone for trying to read through it, this is the complete opposite of it. It's more just going off of points that come to mind, and as I talk, more ones will probably come up. It might be a little bit scattered, but I'm hoping there will be some coherency just because it'll kind of relate to what we're doing on screen back into the talk here. So, I don't think Light Bowgun is in a good spot for how it feels to play. I think damage number-wise, it's fine as it is. Like, damage and numbers are always something you can either throw up or down depending on how the performance is of them, but it doesn't really get around how it feels to play, and there's a few reasons for that. I think one of the first ones is actually a reverse of what it should be designed as. Because, one of the things is, when you do start with the Light Bowgun, it seems like the main focus is to try to get you into rapid-fire mode as much as you possibly can. But because of that, it means all the focus is on a mode that you're more limited to how often you'll be using it. So I'm just going to go through this. There's also a number of things that, the flow seems to be kind of wrong for how you want it to be done too. But for the rapid-fire mode, there are a few things where it doesn't feel like it combos as much as it could or should. I'll just go through this, and hopefully we'll be done. Okay, that's rapid-fire mode out of the way. So we're basically out of energy. We have to go back to the basic mode. And my problem is, the basic mode of trying to use, your standard shots outside of rapid-fire, it feels a little bit too bland because all of its focus is now into a limited-time mode you're trying to build up compared to how it was. I think there's actually an acceleration on how we're generating our energy back for it. But unlike in previous games where they kind of had it so you didn't have to worry about this extra mode to be into, it feels like that's a complete shift of mindset for how the bowguns have been in the past, where it feels like it's more of a charge-up weapon than it used to be. It's not that it's a bad thing, but I feel like because of the focus being so much into your peak gameplay performance is through your rapid-fire mode or your ignition mode for the heavy bowgun, I'll get to that one in its own video, I think, it feels like the Light Bowgun is just a little bit too lackluster outside of that for anything else. There is a bit of a good flow to the weapon, but one issue I have is, when you're trying to build up your shots and everything, the chaser shot feels like completely breaks the flow of it. And I feel like the chaser should be something that is more incentivized to be used at specific points than, say, every second shot if you wanted to. Now, again, you could use it any time, but it feels like once you use the chaser, the flow is completely broken for it. I want to see if... Yeah, because you also get stuck in standstill, and you can't follow it up all that quickly with another shot, it feels like the usual flow of how the Light Bowgun is for it's get your shots out steadily, clip's empty, go to reload, you now have the shot, chaser, break, start again. It's not all that much you notice in, short term, here, but through using it over and over and over, it will come to something you'll feel more and more. So I feel like the chaser, instead of locking you in place, maybe try to change it up, or have it incentivized so the chaser shots actually build up per shot you've previously used in your clips. If you fire one and use chaser... No, hang on. The timing window is also something that can be a little tricky to work with at times. But we'll keep using normal. So, say if you use one shot normal and you use the chaser, it just fires one volley. But if you use two shots, it would actually follow up with two chasers. So it kind of feels like the more that you put in for building your shots up, you can get a higher payoff with the chaser shot around. Now, of course, that can be balanced out by reducing the damage, but it feels like that way you're a little more incentivized for wanting to try to get the chaser in, try and be strategic of when you use it too, rather than how it generally is now of mostly just minding your openings for it. And actually, even then, I think the chaser shot might be weaker than just regular without. Okay, so 1919, that's... Okay, so it is a little bit stronger. Because, yeah, it's 38 and 38 for the 2 rounds. Depending on the affinity you get, it does vary a little bit, but I don't know if it feels like it's as worth it for, like, how locked in you get with it. Like, normal shot, there's not a lot of recoil, so you don't feel it that much. But if we use something like Pierce, it's not too bad either. It might be mostly from spread shot where you notice it, but it still feels like there's... Actually, that's one thing I want to do too. Yeah, that's another point that I'll get to in a minute. But normal shot, it's the one I defaulted to most through the series just because it meant me have much more reactivity to everything going on. It feels like you get a lot of animations that lock you in for your reloads and recoils, so if you're using anything beyond normal, it can feel like you get almost stuck in place and really susceptible, which is a big problem come the later parts of Wilds, in like the tempered monsters that are much quicker and much more powerful in attacks. Normal, I don't think there's really anything to change up with it. It's a steady general type that seems to be working well. The chaser shot behavior, I think, is something, again, just make it a little more strategic in use rather than how it kind of is. But where we start getting into problems is with, like, say, the Pierce shot. Like, I don't have anything against it for, like, how it is to shoot, because it does have a little bit more of a recoil, so that feels worth it. My problem comes into its reload and the chaser shot. Like, the chaser shot, I don't know if you should have to go in... I guess that's... Yeah, so you can see the chaser shot of the Pierce one, it locks you in longer than it does for the normal. I kind of feel like, I know it might offset to like how the damage could be for it, but it's again, it feels like it breaks the rhythm of flow when using the weapon. It's not bad if you have a short clip, so it's like you're using that towards the end, but say if you have like a clip of, well, even the 4 there and try and go back and forth like that, and then you have that long period before you can shoot again or even dodge or anything. It's the little bits that just add up to make it feel like it doesn't have a nice smooth flow of combination. It's kind of like other weapons do, like say Sword and Shield, Longsword, stuff like that. The other weapons that are more meant to be combo and flow like that, it feels like this is trying to emulate it, but there's some breaks that don't make it feel like it's as smooth. The big issue that comes for the bowguns, though, both light and heavy, is spread ammo. Its recoil is too ridiculous for it. Like, just one shot and you are locked back for quite a while. You do have a sidestep, but to try to fire, you now have to get back into position and move up for it. I feel like with the chaser shot, instead of being locked in place like that, it should be reversed. Have it so that way your initial shot, you stay still, but when you go to use the chaser, that's when you get pushed back on it. Because as it stands, it's weird to try to rapid fire or try to follow up with this, and you actually are getting yourself pushed back outside of the critical range for it with it. It's... I don't know if it's, again, try to offset because of all the numbers it seems to do damage-wise, but it does not feel good. We'll get to that one in a moment. I just wanted to try to reset the wound that's there. Another thing, too, is, like, the critical range. There is this dead zone of, like, point blank, which I do feel like shouldn't exist. Okay, actually, that's a bit of a weird one. Because, like, normal does seem to have the largest critical range of all shot types. It goes this close, all the way up to nearly point blank. So, that might be another reason why I like normal so much, too, is because you felt like you always had effective range with it, whereas when you get to, like, say, Pierce, it is meant to have a further critical range, like back here. But it also feels like it has the most limited of critical ranges, too. It's like, it's just this little period from here to here. So it's not that great. I mean, in multiplayer, if you're able to keep back, you will probably be able to make most use of it. But single player, I could see having a bit of difficulty trying to maintain the critical range of this here. But I do like that it is, like, keeping more further back. It feels in place. I've always had issues where Pierce just can kind of feel like it's almost too safe an ammo type. But I think they also have it so the critical range might not be as far back as it has been in other entries. Pierce, again, my biggest issue when it comes to this is if you go to reload, you don't actually get a chance to dodge. I'd rather have it, your reloads only proc at the very end of the animation, but you can dodge out early. So it's a case of, like, Let's use, say, 3 shots. Okay, gotta reload. 1 dodge, 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 dodge. No dodge. There's a dodge. So it's that little opening that you don't have input. I feel like it's put into danger. It might just be to offset, so that way it's not, like, too safe feeling. But I feel like you should always be able to dodge out of a reload and only have, again, final points, or, like, final parts of the animation are what give you the full, you're reloaded. So you at least still have to get a reload through, but you can at least dodge out of danger more with it. Sticky, I actually admit I have not used Sticky all that much in the game at all yet. It looks like it has a fair critical range for... Yeah, it's like normal. It seems to have all critical range, but that's because I think the critical range doesn't actually matter all that much with it. Yeah, good lord, look at that for critical range. You could basically go as far as you want with it. I think, though, the problem falls once again into too heavy of recoil and reload amounts. Oh, actually... recoil's not all that bad for it. Like, you do get pushed back a bit. But yeah, this is where the reload is awful on it. Yeah, recoil's not bad, so you can follow it up. It actually, ironically, chains a lot better than spread shot does. Because you do have much faster fire for when the next shot goes off. Yeah, you're getting pushed back. But again, it doesn't matter all that much. The big issue is this slow, long reload right there. That's going to get you in trouble a lot. As a case, too, of... say you've used up... we'll just say use 3 up. Store the weapon. When you go to draw it by accident, and you're using the reload draw, you're in a very bad spot until that's done. Might not matter much for, like, again, some early monsters, even mid-high rank monsters. But once you're up into tempered things like Tempered Arcveld, Core Magala, definitely Mizutsune, even going up against Zoshia, that's where it feels like your lack of input and be able to react really gets you smacked around pretty heavily. The elemental ammo, I think it basically works... it does work a bit differently than Pierce does, because it does look like you have a closer and decent enough range for critical distance for it. But it actually has one of the best combinations of reload and recoil. Because, like, it's not too bad for reload. You are able to sidestep and move a little bit with it, or I guess more like a strafing step when you're reloading. You can't dodge immediately, but you do get a lot of movement with it. And I guess it does make sense because they do give you finite numbers to have in your inventory. You can always create more with, like, crafting and such, or stopping back in camp. But I don't think I have any issues with the elemental aside from dragon ammo. Because once again, it's... you have it, but you don't really have a lot of use of it. And they do have it so that way it is just like the, sticky ammo. I'd much rather see them get rid of the way they keep trying to make Dragon the super specialized ammo. Because the more super specialized it is, the less use it's going to be for the weapon. You might have some speedrunners and such using it for certain tactics, but just in general and up against, like, if you're a general hunter or gunner with it, I don't think you'll find it useful enough to bring and use. You'll want to capitalize on other ammo types. Like, yeah, it can do decent numbers out, but for the fact that you only carry 4 at a time, and you might be able to combine, I think it's up to 10 for the total if you have it in your inventory, I don't think it offsets that compared to, like, having the full 60 you can have other ammo types. Recover, I haven't actually used all that much. I do like that they've changed it up so that way you can actually... now you can actually benefit from these shot types, whereas before you couldn't. Because things like the Recover shot, the... actually, I should check. I believe there's also Demon shot and Armor shot. Yeah, there are. I can't use it in this bowgun, but... now that it actually has a, like, area of effect on the ground, you can make use of it proper. In all prior games, these were meant for you could only support other people with it, because you couldn't actually proc off the effects yourself. Now that you can, I like that these have a little bit more use for yourself to be able to put in and help buff yourself up. Exhaust, I'll have to see how that is for shot type. But I think that covers most of the light bowgun, except for one issue I do have with it, and that is... no light bowguns are capable of using slicing shot. Very few heavy bowguns are actually capable of using slicing shot. I think it's to try to help push it so that way you want to switch out and swap the weapons. But it feels like it's pretty limited because all you really have access to for the Light Bowgun for, like, going on a lot of hunts is normal, pierce, elemental. Statuses, well, I mean, you can bring them, but it's not really a thing of, like, they're a main part of your build. It's not like you're making a paralysis build that you can kind of follow up with something else in a way. So with that, it basically means spread type you can't use, sticky you can't use, slicing, sticky, cluster, wyvern. Those 4 you don't get access to as a Light Bowgun, and you don't even get access to spread as well, so it clips down a lot on your options. I can understand, okay, you want to make the heavy bowgun a heavy ordnance thing. I would honestly say maybe then give slicing ammo to the Light Bowgun and give sticky to the heavy bowgun. Some people might be opposed to it because sticky was usually something where it's like, okay, we like this rapid fire ability and we like the daze effects of it. But I feel like that was something where it might have caused a little bit of, like, too much power in previous entries. So maybe it would fit more to have the heavy explosive ordnance more tied to the heavy bowgun and the lighter repeated effects of, like, say, slicing shot into the light. The other aspect I want to talk about is the charge up for its focus blast. Like, my thinking with this is if you have to charge up like this to get, like, max effect, it shouldn't be that slow lob you see, because that lob has a number of issues with it. First of all is the charge time makes it very vulnerable for you to actually get it off, so I feel like you don't want to be slow all the way through for effect. It should be slow to charge up, but when you fire, it should be faster. And I think it should actually be the speed of the adhesive ammo we get for the special ammo type. Like, we'll do a slow build up, fire, there's that. I feel like, and then this is the special ammo adhesive ammo. I feel like it should be kind of a sniper shot, and it should almost work how the charge shot did in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. As you charge this up, it gains extra procs, so you have 3 stages, sort of like how the bow used to have for Monster Hunter. Or, actually, it might even still have. I admit I don't have a lot of experience on Wilds with it to say, but each level of charge gives it another piercing proc. So if you just fire it immediately, it'll just instantly hit that part of the monster's hitbox, and that's it. If it charges up twice, it hits 2 procs, one on the initial, then like a piercing effect to get the second one in. If you charge up all the way, it gives you 3, and I'd say keep the damage number equal or like equally split across all the procs, but have it, again, increase for the damage number through the procs. The reason why I want to have more of a piercing effect is because there's a lot of monsters that have the the wounds hidden behind their own hitbox of, like, say, wings or tail or back or something else. And because of the way this, the Eagle Strike works, this could get caught on a wing, and you don't actually get all the way through to where you're trying to get. On top of with the speed and how slow it is for the lob to actually go out and connect, you might have it intercepted by part of the monster too. In some regards, you could say, okay, that adds more strategy if you have to be really precise with your shots that you want with, like, the marksman weapons, like the bowguns. But I add on to it that it feels too slow for the Light Bowgun trying to be more faster paced and such. So switch the adhesive shot to instead have, like, the lob effect to it, to attach onto a monster, since that's more just trying to build up damage in itself, and have the adhesive shot's fast shot speed there be tied to the Eagle Strike. Because I don't think of an Eagle Strike like dropping a mortar on something. I feel like Eagle Strike is meant to be swift and punishing, or swift and precise with its shot. And that just doesn't really come off with this. Like, if I aim up there... Ooh, a little too high. That's another thing, is trying to judge how much arc you have to give to that shot as well for it to work off properly. That's the Eagle Strike. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There is one other thing with the special ammo. So, for the Light Bowguns, you have 2 types of specialized ammo. Let me just find there. You got the adhesive ammo, or you have the Wyvern Blast, which just works like how it has in previous games, where you just put a mine down, and you basically have to either attack it yourself, or let the monster attack it. We are missing the Wyvern Blast counter, which I think would add a lot to the special ammo types. The reason being, adhesive ammo is good for, like, trying to focus, say, a part break or making a wound up. Wyvern Blast is okay on its own if you're trying to get something. I could kind of see maybe you put it down for like trying to get monster to hit. But I don't believe the Wyvern Blast actually procs to get you offset attacks. Those are ones like, say, if... we'll switch to a Heavy Bowgun actually in order to show that off. Oh, actually I have one as a secondary weapon. Perfect. Yeah, we'll swap that out, and we'll show off what the offset attack. It's basically, certain weapons have an attack or a combination or ability where if you time its specific attack right, and it connects with the monster while it's mid-attack, you can basically stagger the monster fully back and get a little bit of breathing room, and is a very cinematic feeling effect to get off. The problem is, though, only certain weapons have it. Let's see, we want... No, not that. I don't think that really matters. I'm looking for Smash Mode. There we go. We'll apply those changes. So, in order to use the offset attack, we have to be in the ignition mode for the Heavy Bowgun. And we gotta charge this up. Okay, so I was too early on the timing with that. It is one thing that will take practice. There we go. So when it's somewhere in its attack animation frames, and you get that attack to go off, it staggers the monster back, it throws you back a bit, it does a fair bit of, or a nice chunk of damage, but it adds that cinematic feel of, like, it's an option I can have, and I would love to get it off. But the Light Bowgun lacks that ability for itself. And in truth, the Light Bowgun lacks both the guarding ability for, like, power clashes. There we go. The two main kind of interactions you have nowadays in Wilds are your offset attacks like that, where you can actually throw the monster back if you time it right, or you have the power clash, which is your guarding, and you actually have... I don't actually know if I can get a power clash against the training dummy. I don't think so. Because it's basically when you're guarding and block a monster's attack, you kind of get put into a little bit of like a quick time event where you can guard and get some damage in against the monster and then throw them back as well. It's not something that has like a... I'm trying to remember for it. It has like a cooldown between each power clash you can have, so it's not like every time you guard, you'll be able to get into a clash for it. I actually want to see if it's possible to have a clash with this, just because this is supposed to be training. But I don't think it is just because of how pretty straightforward it is. Natural recovery, strength settings, I don't think I need anything there. Don't need wound settings, don't need smash or throw or anything. Yeah, I think that's about... I can't change it so that way it has the power clash. But it's basically something most weapons either have access to at least a offset attack, or at least a power clash, or some of them even have both. But I think very few weapons actually have neither. And that's something where the Light Bowgun falls into having neither. I don't know if the bow has a power clash attack too, but I think the bow, because of how it flows so well through all of its different attacks and shots, you don't really notice that, like, say, the Light Bowgun with, again, it just kind of has that lackluster to it. I'll just bring out the Light Bowgun again. So that's where I think the Light Bowgun has a lot of stuff that I could see tweaking to try to make it not so much viable damage-wise, but viable feel-wise, so it feels much better to play as a weapon. Because right now, it does feel a bit too bland and basic to go through a lot of things. Normal shot, I'm fine with how it works. It does feel like it's meant to be. It builds you up towards the rapid-fire mode more. But I feel like there's some changes to do with... When you go into reloading some types, like, say, Pierce, you can dodge out of the reload. It's only the very end once you, like, have fully pulled back. Then it's reloaded. If you dodge anywhere earlier, it's not reload, but you at least have the stake you can dodge. Spread shot, change it up so that way its recoil here is actually the recoil of if it's in rapid-fire mode or with a chaser shot. I was like, if we do it again, big blowback, chaser shot, no blowback. I mean, we do get stuck in position there a little bit, but you actually can still kind of dodge out of it. So, again, spread, make it a viable ammo type by reducing that recoil heavily. Sticky, I think, same thing with Pierce, let you dodge out of it more so. I don't have any issue with the elemental types. And change up the way the focus strike is working, so instead of this really slow build-up to a slow lob, make it so it's like a sniper shot that has a piercing effect that can proc, say, 3 times, and that way you can bypass the hitbox a little bit if you do have monsters like, say, Gore Magala with the wings that'll block you from trying to get underneath it that easily. And then also change the special ammo for giving adhesive becomes the slow lobbing shot that lands onto the monster, and bring back the Wyvern Blast counter so the Light Bowgun at least has access to offset attack if it wants it. Again, it'd be completely optional, and it takes over one of the options for the special ammo types. I think it'll give a little bit more of a cinematic feel for the Light Bowgun, which it does need just something for like a little bit of extra wow factor. I'd probably say the Light Bowgun is sort of like a pocket knife in Wilds. It does a fair bit of utility, it has a few options you can use for it, but it's not all that standout or grand of a weapon. If there can be some changes like that, it might feel like it plays a bit better and more smoothly, and that is the big focus, is I think the feel over the performance. Because again, it's easy to tweak up or down numbers to make the game play differently or like try to bring some balance to whatever meta there is, but when it comes to like feeling and playing the weapon, the big draw is how does it flow, how does it feel rewarding, does it feel engaging, or does it feel a little basic and boring? Right now, the Light Bowgun borders a bit on boring for me. I still have fun with it, it's still probably going to be my main weapon, but I do see areas of improvement for it. So I think that is enough to bring a little bit of a close to this little bit of a longer talk video. Just kind of go over my thoughts on it. I don't know if other people will disagree or agree with points I've raised. But I just wanted to put that out there and see if there's any other input or suggestions on like how they felt with trying out the Light Bowgun. It feels like it's a little bit too bland for its basic mode right now. Once you get into rapid fire mode, it does pick up because you feel like you're a lot more agile getting some stuff done. But even then, you still have the recoil and reload in some regards being a problem there. Another thing I actually should mention that I only came across now is I want to see more input needed for like trying to do things in like the rapid fire mode. Like, there's a case of when you slide, there is a way the weapon actually will reload on itself for you. I think it's only once you have the chamber fully empty. Yeah, it's once you slide, it automatically reloads with a fully empty chamber. That, again, poses a problem when you have, say, Dragon Shot or Pierce Shot, where you have a very long and slow reload animation, so you can't really get out again. Give you the chance to be able to dodge out it, but you'll still have to fully reload properly when you get a safer opening, too. So that way, it at least gives you some input without being kind of stood there, just going through it, and oh crap, I'm watching it, and ow, that was a powerful hit I just took. Actually, I want to see. Let me change up to the Wyvern Blast. I just want to see if it actually is a case of if I put that down while that's doing its smacks, if that would actually have a offset effect. I don't think it would, but if I'm talking about that, I might as well show off the effect of it. Yeah, it's just one burst like that, no matter how it gets struck. So again, it might do some numbers out, but I feel like you could change that so that way, even maybe if you gave it so that way it had like an offset ability once it's struck. It just feels like it needs something more for like that ability. And again, change it up so that way this, instead of the very slow lob, it feels more like a swift sniping shot that will pierce through where you're aiming. There's a few ideas and suggestions I just want to talk about because they've been on my mind for a while, and with having completed the roster for now, it felt like a good time to go over that. Next episode, I think I'll go over my feelings about the heavy bowgun, talk about like my thinking on that. Ironically enough, it feels much better to play than the Light Bowgun because of a little bit more it has, and I'll go into that next time. But for now, thank you guys for listening to this rant on what is wrong with the Light Bowgun, in my opinion, for Monster Hunter Wilds. If you did have any opinions yourself about everything, be sure to leave them in the comments right down below. And until I see you all next video or episode, Hunters and Survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy hunting.